All right, good morning, traders. Today is May 7th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. It's a day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Special thank you to everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for listening and subscribing and following and leaving kind words on my content. Big shout out to Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler, everybody that shares the BYOB content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web so that everybody can enjoy trading. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. I got a few announcements. Let's move some things around. Let's take this out of the way. Got some guidance. We'll go through that in just a second. Let's get the announcements out of the way. First one, members e-learning here in the combo room today. Starts at noon. If you don't see me in the trading room, I'll be over there in the combo room. All right, so if you get a black screen in the BYOB trading room, we're all over there in the combo room trying to get the learning in. All right, so bring your questions. All right, it should be interesting. I have a very small universe. Some people have bigger universes. Should be a good topic. And we'll see you there in the combo room. How to get there. Let me see if I can show you how to get there. It doesn't log me out. Okay, so up here, you go to your you log into your hitandruncandlesticks.com. You go to your member page. You might be Right Way Options. You might be Hit and Run, BYOB. Over here to the right, this is where you log in to get to the BYOB Trading Room. This is where you go to get combined e-learning right there. So you just log in there, and it'll open up a new room, and you put your credentials in, and you're in. That's it. All you got to do is be a member, all right, or a trial, either one, and you can attend those e-learning sessions right there. Now, if you're looking for them, all right, they're right here under e-learning replay. Go to resources under e-learning replay. Click that. You're going to see it's about 10 videos per page. It's about 36 pages. So that's 360 videos right there. And if that's not enough videos, we got a whole lot more. Wait. Come on down to public webinar. All right. Again, 10 videos per page. And we got 20 pages of those. There's another 200 videos. All right, so plenty of e-learning to be had here at the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. All right, so let's come back over here. Let's move down just a little bit. So that's today at noon. All right, so if you're looking for me, that's where I'm going to be, in the combo room. All right, so let's get that out of the way, and let's start with, we'll hit this in just a second. Let's do the summary of what happened yesterday, because we got a lot of big stuff happened yesterday. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 731. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. So yesterday, SPY, T2123, IWM, QQQ, all made new all-time highs. FNGU and Diamond Dow made new rally highs. SPY closed 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold still in a downtrend. Made a higher low and a higher high. Closed over a bearish trap and over the falling 17. Silver starts a new uptrend. Made a higher low and a higher high. Closed over a bearish trap and over the falling 17. USO, lower high, lower low. Closed below a bearish trap and under the rising 17. I think that's still in an uptrend. UNG still in a downtrend, made a lower high, lower low, closed under a bullish trap and under the falling 17. US dollar index still in a daily downtrend, closed near the 98.02 area. SPY max pain for today, if they haven't changed it on me, 731 with a put to call ratio of about 1.6 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. Now, if this is your first time seeing this page, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they have a star, they're building out a launch pad. It's known as a bull flag, all right, from which to launch higher. If it's got a little dash, it means they already built the flag and they already launched higher from yesterday, okay? Over here, got a little star next to it, right here. So this is a nice little watch list. Okay, so you got a little star next to it, and you're building out a bear flag. I call it a platform from which to dive lower. All right, if it got a little dash next to it, it means they've already built the bear flag, and they're on the breakdown right now. They're breaking down or breaking out of the bearish flag to the downside. Okay, so there's a little watch list over the 17 EMA, under the 17 EMA. All right, let's take a look at what do we want to look at next. Let's move this off to the side, take a look at SPY, and then we'll hit the guidance. Okay, let's look at what we see so far this morning. We see observation, consolidation, over consolidation. Now, when you look at this, think of this as one candle, okay? All right, so that's one candle that made a higher high and a higher low over the previous candle. And you think of this, the pre-market or the post-market, all right, as one candle from the candle before it. So it's moving up. That's why I have a bullish bias. All right, we're under VWAP, but you can see that means bullish bias for me, because I look at it as clumps of candles, and what are the clumps of candles doing? All right, so for my guidance this morning, and we've got consolidation over consolidation. So I like a 10-minute uptrend over 733.45. So if we get a pullback, and then a 10-minute uptrend happens to manifest, maybe even below 733.45, and starts to shoot up through 733.45, or it manifests above it, I would look for it to go to the pre-market highs, all right, which is 736, all right, and then to the overhead call wall, wherever that plots out this morning, okay? I don't know where it is right now. They will plot it out in the morning. It usually takes them about 2 minutes to plot out all the gamma exposure and put the call wall in and the put wall in. On the southern direction, all right, if we get a 10-minute downtrend below 732.50, all right, I want to ride that down to the whole number, 730.70, and then lower to the put wall, wherever that plots out this morning. So we can go take a peek at the put wall, all right, and currently the put wall, all right, right here is at 725. This will all change. The call wall, which is right here, is currently at 743. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, so I don't know where these are going to plot once the market opens up, and this is just for today's expiration on the gamma exposure. So we'll see what happens. All right, so that's where we're at right now. Let's move this out of the way. All right, so it will be attracted to, price will typically be attracted to the biggest, all right, the biggest strike, whatever that is. Okay, so this is the biggest strike right here. You can see it's currently at 734. All right, the next biggest strike is 731. Again, that will all change, so we'll see what happens. Okay, 731 is the next biggest strike. Okay, so you can see over here, magnet 734, and that's because this is the biggest strike right there. Okay, so there's SPY this morning, looking like they're trying to stage a breakout. We'll see what they want to do. Maybe they're going to double top. I don't know. Maybe they climb on top of that. We'll see. Maybe they start a 10-minute uptrend. If they happen to start a 10-minute uptrend, that's beautiful, because it will be over 733.50, which I said I'd be interested in taking a long, all right, trade over 733.50. So if they start a 10-minute uptrend and that 10-minute uptrend still going at 9:30, I will probably just fall into that 10-minute uptrend. We'll see what happens. Again, it's still early. We got about an hour and 15 minutes before the market opens. So there's a whole lot of 10-minute candles that are going to be plotting in here before the market opens. So things could change. So we'll see what happens. So there's SPY. So yesterday, you can see SPY, we left off with, you can see the candlesticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8 EMA. The 3 and the 8 all rising up. VWAP is rising up. Nice little picture of money yesterday. Couple of them. Here's a picture of money. Another picture of money right there. Okay, so price action. Got 10-minute uptrend. Again, everything pointed up. All right, so we closed the day with a 10-minute uptrend on the 2-hour chart. All right, we look up top here and we see the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the rising 8. All right, we've got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So we got ourselves a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Okay, on the daily chart, what do we got? All right, we got a new all-time high. Pretty sure this is yesterday's candle. Yeah. Okay, so new all-time high. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. That's going to be bullish. All right, and in an uptrend. Okay, bullish in an uptrend. Just surprised they didn't put in any foundation from here to there. That's crazy. And even on this one, very little foundation. Not till we get to here. Market's on fire. So anyways, there's SPY on the daily chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Weekly chart, if you're making new all-time highs on the daily chart, then the weekly's doing the same thing, and the monthly is going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Same with the monthly, bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, so back to the daily. You can see the origin of the move all the way back here in April. We go up, make a new all-time high, set a higher low, rip, make another new all-time high. All right, for the game plan this morning, I would trade the guidance before I traded the game plan, but I do have a game plan for SPY this morning. We can take a peek at that. Go to the 15-minute chart, and let's see if I can drag this into focus. Okay, so I like green erases red over 734.60. All right, pivot 731, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green entry below, gap fill down here 727.80. Okay, so that's the red erases green entry, green erases red. Again, I'm not against trading 10-minute downtrend that happens to manifest up here long before it gets to the red erases green entry. All right, I just like to see it break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. Okay, so that's SPY on the 15-minute chart. I like Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. Higher open interest usually means a lot of liquidity, like means a tighter bid-ask spread, and I don't want a lot of slippage when I stop out. Okay, I like strikes at the money or a little bit out of the money, just like maybe one strike over at the money, all right? That's what I like the best, all right? Those in the money strikes are going to give you that penny for penny performance, all right? Whereas strikes out of the money will only give you a percentage of that penny for penny performance, okay? So for that reason, I like strikes at the money, kind of in between, all right? I got a small account, so I can only get a few contracts. Can't get too many because I want to have something left over to repair a failed trade or to add to an existing trade. So I like the strikes that are just a little bit at the money, but a little bit over at the money. Okay, that's what I like. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. My favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend that happens to reside inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's my favorite trade. I don't know if we're going to get that today. We can put the anchored VWAP on yesterday's close and see where that plots out. But I don't think, maybe we get it. Maybe not. We'll see. Let's put one on there. Yeah, currently we're up over yesterday's high anchored VWAP, so we might get one. We'll see what happens. All right, so there's the SPY game plan. QQQ's got a game plan as well. QQQ game plan is, spread this out a little bit. Okay, you got green erases red over yesterday's highs. Okay, so that's going to be 696. All right, the pivot for today, 690.75. Red erases green underneath, 686.40. All right, so underneath the open gap. All right, I'd be looking for gap fill down here if we get a 10-minute downtrend. So underneath 686.40 is the red erases green entry. Same thing here, okay? If I get a 10-minute uptrend that happens to manifest down here, I'm not opposed to taking it to the upside as long as it breaks that bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Same thing with the downside, 10-minute downtrends. If one breaks 10-minute bullish bearish rubber band candle, I like to take that 10-minute downtrend, even if it happens to manifest long before the red erases green entry right here. So let's look at QQQ, okay, on the 10-minute chart. Let's look at it on a different chart. Okay, I like the same options on QQQ. All right, I like Friday options on the multiple of 5. I like the at-the-money strikes just over at the money. And I like 10-minute downtrends over VWAP. 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. And again, my favorite trade for the QQQ would be the 10-minute uptrend that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That would be my favorite trade. Okay, so here's QQQ on the 10-minute chart. You can see the sticks and the 3 EMA, all right, are all plotting up over the rising 8. Okay, you got daylight between the 3 and the 8 right here at the end of the day. 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2-hour chart, you got the sticks and the 3 plotting up over the rising 8. You got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. All right, so we got ourselves 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily chart, well, it's a new all-time high. Okay, so it's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, for QQQ, bullish and in an uptrend, it's making a new all-time high. Same with the weekly chart. Same with the monthly chart. Right there. Okay, and I already gave you the game plan for that. Let's go back to the daily chart. Let's take a peek at IWM. IWM made new all-time high. Okay, on the daily chart. So that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU makes a new rally high. You can see it's up here. This is the all-time high. That's the all-time low. All-time high anchored VWAP right there. So you can see price is in the upper third, so it's bullish and in an uptrend for FNGU. New rally high. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow makes another new rally high, makes a new rally high right up here. Okay, it's over the all-time high anchored VWAP. It's at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. All right, so we did QQQ, we did SPY, we did FNGU, we did IWM. Let's take a look at silver and gold. Okay, so here's silver. Silver is in the middle of quadrant 3. I'll pan out so you can see it. Here's the origin of the move back here in 2022. That's the all-time high. Silver, you can see in the middle of quadrant 3 here. So that's going to be neutral. Yesterday's candle was a higher low, a higher high. Closed over a bearish trap or a bullish cross. Closed over a flat 17 or falling 17 EMA right there. All right, there's a high. They made a higher high. So that's an uptrend. All right, so they're neutral and in an uptrend underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold, higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap, over falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP at the bottom of quadrant 4. I'll pan out so you can see the origin of the move back here in 2022. all-time high up there. Okay, that pink line's the all-time high anchored VWAP. So bottom of quadrant 4, that's going to be bullish. All right, and they're still in a downtrend. Okay, they haven't made a higher high yet. So bullish but in a downtrend on GLD. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, USO, lower high, lower low. Didn't make, got a low here below the 17. We didn't make a lower low here. Just a candle made lower high, lower low. Closed underneath the bullish trap. Closed underneath the rising 17. We closed in the bottom of quadrant 4, near the bottom of quadrant 4. So that's still bullish and still in an uptrend right there. Just not moving up, all right? It's still bullish, still in an uptrend, just kind of melting off to the right or melting down. So there's USO on the daily chart, bullish and in an uptrend right there. So you see the origin of this move back in 2023, and that is a 11-year high right there. Okay, 11-year high. Not an all-time high, but 11-year high. Let's take a look at UNG. And on UNG, this is a 12-month high anchored VWAP right there, just 12 months. Okay, nothing to brag about right there. This is the all-time low right there. If you're interested where the all-time high is, hope you're sitting down. It's way back here, okay? Way back here. And this number right over here, okay? So, again, very low bar here, 12-month high anchored VWAP, and they still can't make it over the 12-month high anchored VWAP. So this is the all-time low right here, yesterday's candle. Lower high, lower low, closed underneath bullish drop, underneath the falling 17, underneath the 12-month high anchored VWAP, bottom of quadrant 1. So that's going to be bearish. They have not made a higher high and in a downtrend. So there's UNG. Let's take a look at technicals and see what internals are saying. T2101. Okay, so as we made new highs, market breadth, participation increased a little bit right there. That's a good sign. That's a bullish sign. T2122. We camped out inside the buy zone. Okay, so that's another bullish sign right there. T2123, 15-minute chart. You're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. And we made another new all-time high. Nice bullish gap up, planking and holding that higher ground up there. Beautiful show of strength right there. I would expect some more upside today, all right? So we'll see. They look a little exhausted, but I'd expect a little bit more upside. Still showing the bulls have control of the price action. It's theirs to lose. In other words, they have it. I haven't seen a bear around in a long time. All right? So T2123, 15-minute chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Same with the 3-bar chart. Again, here's our April origin of our rally. We run up, make a new all-time high for the year of 2025. Pull back, make a higher low. And yes, the beginning of the year, 2026, we rip and make a new all-time high for the year of 2026. Pull back, make a higher low, and rip again and make another new all-time high on T2123 3-bar chart. Okay, so obviously bullish and in an uptrend. On the US dollar index, which is right here, all right, you can see we 2025, we have a 6-month downtrend. See how it starts at January and it runs till June. 6-month downtrend right here, making lower highs and lower lows. And then we come into, we break all of this, major support, all that consolidation. Each one of those valley lows builds out the major support. Minor support would be across the tips of those. Major support is underneath the valleys. Okay, so when you're above it, it becomes support. Currently, they broke through. So now it's minor resistance up above, major resistance up over the minor resistance. Okay, so we're in this 8-month, 10-month bear flag right here. Well, from June all the way till May of 2026. So we got ourselves a 11-month bear flag. Notice the bear flag is longer than the flagpole. So the fabric is kind of drooping on the ground here. Bear flag, they've tried 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to break out of the bear flag. Failed all 5 times. Currently in the big bear flag that's longer than the flagpole. Okay, price, there's a low right here that shoots below the 17. We made a lower low. All right, and we have a little high right here. We made a higher high. Then we turned around and made a lower low right here. So we're still in a downtrend. Okay, so U.S. dollar index still in a downtrend inside that bear flag underneath what was once major support up here. All right, and we'll take a look at Max Pain. All right, Max Pain is 731. Put to call ratio is 1.55, so I call it 1.6. All right, so 1.6 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember, those security options expire at 4. Index options expire at 4:15. Don't forget, we got members e-learning at noon. So let's refresh this, see if anything changed. All right, on the economic calendar, we've got for this morning, which is Thursday, jobless claims at 8:30, productivity and costs at 8:30, construction spending, we got 2 construction spending. One's going to come out at 10 o'clock, the other one comes out at 10:01. I'll bet one of them is a delayed report. Again, natural gas report at 10:30, and then consumer credit at 3 p.m. Tomorrow, this is a volatile event, the employment situation. I think you get one of those at the beginning of each month. So this is the employment situation for the month of May, probably summarizing the month of April. All right, so the employment situation, 8:30, that is a volatile event. That is the main event for this week right here from the economic calendar. That starts at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. Okay, this was consumer credit. Consumer credit at 3 today. Consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Then we get a rig count at 1, and then that's it. A couple of Fed speakers right there. All right, so there's the economic calendar. Let's take a look at earnings right here. And on earnings for Thursday, the 7th, okay, a lot of familiar names, but none of these are the tip of the spear, and I'm talking about AI and technology, which is the future. Not to say Shell's not going to be here in the future, or McDonald's, all right? I'm just saying these all have big market caps, but none of them are going to be market movers like Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, anything that's the tip of the spear when it comes to AI. AI is the future. All right, the idea that robots and automation is possible is coming closer and closer to our front door. All right, if it's not already here for some of us. All right, that is the future. All right, so not to say that these won't be here in the future, but things are looking good. I would keep an eye on this one, Howmet Space. Aerospace, I think they do drones. I don't know if they do drones, but they've had a wonderful last 2 years. HWM, we can take a peek at that one. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the daily chart, and I just want to show you HWM. All right, and I'm going to go to, okay, so for the last 2 years, all right, so you can huge upside. All right, coming from $11 back in COVID. All right, all the way up to $261 right there. So beautiful trend on Howmet. Probably time for them to consolidate, and it looks like they've been consolidating through all of 2026. They're going to report. I don't know. I'll bet they have. I'll bet there's been a need for a lot more drones since we've started a conflict, or we're participating in a conflict over there in the Middle East. They're going to need replacement drones or drones that need repairs. So I would bet they have a pretty good quarter. I can already see them gapping up in the pre-market already. So I'm too late. But anyways, there you go. Nice work on Howmet. Anyways, let's come back over here to the earnings calendar. All right, and let's look at Friday. Friday, again, more familiar names. Nothing here is going to be market moving, not like tech, all right? AMD, NVIDIA, all right, Broadcom, all of them. Those are the tech, that's the future. They're going to be the tip of the spear. When they go into an uptrend, they will drag the market into an uptrend, okay? So when they're resting, the market will probably rest. All right, so there we are with earnings right there. Again, we'll review the market this morning with the pre-market on. All right, and let's just take a peek at SPY. All right, I'll put it on the 10-minute chart because I'm a 10-minute trader. And right now, you've got the 3 is, and the stakes are plotting up over the rising 8. Okay, so it's melting up right now. Okay, so we might have a 10-minute uptrend when the market opens. So my plan is to participate in the 10-minute uptrend. All right. Hopefully we get a nice PPO up there over 0.05 when the market opens at 9:30 right there. Tesla might work today. You can take a peek at Tesla. Yeah, Tesla, nice flag there. Yeah, I'd be looking for a breakout on that one. Yeah, you're up at a prior high, just bear in mind. But I do like the consolidation instead of bouncing away. I like the consolidation that hugs right up underneath that prior high right here. So that's looking good. All right, look for a breakout on Tesla up there. You can see Tesla in the pre-market's already up over 0.08 on the 10-minute chart. So nice work for Tesla. Tesla's looking good for a nice breakout right there. Thanks for sharing that, Robert. All right. So yeah, well, I think they break through. It's not the first time. This is the second time. Well, there's one there, and I think if I open up a little bit more. Okay, so we've been there here. We've been there here. Okay, so we've been here several times before. So there's a good chance we get a breakout right here. You got an inverse head and shoulders. Let's face it, this is the neckline. Okay, and things are consolidating right up there at those highs. So this is probably see a breakout. You got the point on the 10-minute chart. You got the 0.08, so good chance. If they rise up over that 9 EMA there, looking good. Looking good. If they can get through that 9 EMA, looking good for a nice rip to the upside on Tesla. So I'd get my PPO out and see if it's got a 9 EMA on it. And if you get a blue bar over that 9 EMA, that would be probably a game on breakout for me, all right, for Tesla. All right, but there you go. All right, so that's it for this morning, okay? Again, I'll review the SPY market plan or game plan this morning, okay? So I want I'm going to move this up. See, we're only at 0.02 on the index right here. So Tesla's looking good, much better than SPY right now. So over 733.50, which is right about here. Okay, 10-minute uptrend over that. We're currently getting a 10-minute uptrend now, so I like that. 10-minute uptrend over 733.50. I'm interested in trading to the upside. If we happen to get below the post-market low down here, okay, that would be a red erases green entry right there. If we get below the post-market low, that's a red erases green entry below 732.60 right there. Okay, so I would take that down to right here. This is where VWAP left off yesterday. That would be my first target, which is, let me just say, it's not much further down. It's like 50 cents lower. Okay, not even that, 40 cents lower. And then I would look to take that down to this low right here, which happens to be 730.66. So 730 would be my target once I get past this VWAP right through here. Okay, that's if we come down. I don't think we're coming down though. I think we're rising up so far. So far it's looking good. Unless they double top it and then roll it over. So we'll see what happens. All right, traders, I'll see you in 35 minutes and we'll open up the markets and trade them live.